Hey friend, thanks for joining us once again here on the Bible Tract Echoes radio broadcast. I'm evangelist Micah McCurry, the host. We have endeavored and tried something new on the program. This is the last day of our first week, our first try at what we called a question and answer week here on Bible Tract Echoes. And I thank you so much for your response. Many of you have texted in. It truly does warm my heart. Let me give you that text number. If you have a question, I'm sure I'll not be able to get to it today, but I think we have gotten so swamped with so many good questions, we'll have to do this again in the near future. So let me give you the way that you can contact me. I'd much prefer if you texted me directly. 309-316-7240. I'll give it to you one more time, 309-316-7240. The reason we did this way is that I realized very recently that I talk about a lot of things related to our family, to myself, to our ministry, to the work that God has for us, but I come at it from a perception and an assumption of knowledge that sometimes isn't there. Now, understand this. I am not calling you ignorant. What I'm saying is I often don't do a good enough job communicating the great work that God has given to us here. And I leave a lot of things open-ended, some knowledge that I would have because I'm, if you call it in the nitty-gritty, I'm down in the mud working on this stuff all the time. I'm here in the office working with Austin, things that we talk about all the time. And sometimes I foolishly assume that you know what I'm talking about. And so my desire is to communicate and be a better encouragement to you about what we do at BTI. And so that was the genesis for how this began. What I'm going to try to do today is address a lot of these questions that we have left over as well as I can so we can make room for some more of them. And so before we do that, though, let me mention this gospel tract called Have You Found Rest? It's one of the most beautiful and peaceful looking designs that we have. It's what we call a quad fold, a double parallel fold track, which means it's one of our longest ones. It does a great job of asking the question, have you found rest? It begins with these verses, Matthew 11:28, Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. I think you need to find rest today. Don't find it in your Facebook feed. Don't find it in the mainstream media. You would know as well as I. You'll never find it there. It's just depressing nonsense there. What you need to find is the God of all eternity, the one that he calls the Prince of Peace. What I'd like to encourage you to do is to go to BibleTractsInc.org and order this gospel tract for free. BibleTractsInc.org. Just search for Have You Found Rest. You'll enjoy the design, but even more so, you'll be encouraged by what's on the inside, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find the opportunity to pass it out to those around you. Now, we are going to devote the remainder of our time today, the closeout of this week, to some of your questions. We're going to go back and forth maybe between some personal questions and some ministry questions. There'll be some crossover, of course, but let's start with a personal question. How many children do you have? I referenced this previously on the broadcast, but I have 2 children. Their names are Emmy Jane and Lucy Louise. We call her Lucy Lou. They're both redheads. Lucy definitely got the vibrant red hair. She, out in the sun, it looks like it's almost fiber optic a little bit. Both, in my opinion at least, beautiful children. I am very thankful for what God has done for me. It helps that they took after their beautiful mother, because if they had gotten more genetics from me, they would have been in a bad way. But anyway, Emmy is 3.5 and Lucy just turned 2. We're so very thankful for all of you that not only pray for me, but those of you that pray for my children and ask about them by name. That really does mean a lot. If you would like, I can send you a picture of what I'm talking about, that vibrant red hair. Just text me, 309-316-7240. Maybe send me a question while you're asking about that. But so there's a personal question. Let's go down to one about the ministry. Let's see here. Someone asked, Philip in Delaware asked this, how many tracts do you give out a day and a year? That's a great question. Now, the way it was worded, I'm not sure if he's talking about me personally or the ministry. And so I'm going to answer both of those questions. Let me do some quick math here. I'm going to pull up my calculator because I'm not that good off the top of my head. We are doing at minimum 13 million gospel tracts this year. 10 million in Pakistan. We'll probably put 1 million into Mexico, another 1 million into India. We're printing another 1 million for domestic shipments here in the next couple of weeks. Let me think here. I would think that 15 million is probably a safe number for this year. Let's say 14 million just in case. We'll say 14 million. That's a lot of zeros here. There we go. That looks like 14 million divided by 365 if we shipped every single day. That would be 38,356 tracts every single day of the year. Now, keep in mind that one of those is a massive shipment of tracts going to Pakistan, and the other 4 or 5 million are going out here and there. But even so, if you just take the other 4 million gospel tracts, let me do the math on that, divided by 365, that's still almost 11,000 gospel tracts going out every single year. To God be the glory. But let me answer the other side of that question. How many tracts do I use every single year or by day? That's a great question. I don't necessarily keep a log of exactly how many tracts I use, but I kind of had a little bit of a thought in the back of my mind that I wanted to see how many days into this year, into 2021 at least, that I could go from starting from January 1, giving out a gospel tract at least every day. I got about 8 or 9 days into the year, and I had not missed a day. Then we got snowed in. We got pelted with snow. I didn't leave the house, and to my chagrin, it broke my streak. But my personal goal is every day that I leave my home and I get in my car, and whether I'm going to work, whether I'm going, it doesn't matter where I'm going, preaching at a church in some distant state, my desire is to find some opportunity to interact with someone that doesn't know the Lord, and to, at the very minimum, if I don't confront them personally about their need for a Savior, my goal is to leave a gospel tract with them. So I don't know if that gives you an idea of how many tracts I personally use, but that's how I use them. And there are some days, maybe I'm on the road for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, and I don't end up actually coming across the path of anyone, even if I'm looking for it. And so what I do in those circumstances, when I stop for gas, I make sure to leave one of our Charge It gospel tracts in the credit card slot. It's a little gospel tract the size of a business card or a credit card. And when I leave it in the credit card slot after I swipe my card and get my gas, the next person that comes through, you guessed it, they're going to have to pull that credit card looking tract out and read it before they get their gas. It's going to catch their eye. And so we try to evangelize that way as well. And so I would guess on a normal year, I probably put out, because when I'm out and about, I do try to put out more than one track. I probably personally, just in that type of endeavor, I'm not talking about organized soul winning and crusades or evangelistic rallies and things, but just in my normal puttering around, I'm sure I average more than one per day. But that's my goal, and in reality, that's a low goal. I need to shoot even higher. Maybe I should shoot for 1,000 in a year. Right now, I'm probably on pace to get there because I've put out a lot over this beginning part of the year, but I need to keep that up. And for you, you need to set goals too. Let's do more for the cause of Christ this year than we ever have before. So I told you I was going to start with a personal question, then a ministry question. Well, technically, I kind of ended back up answering that in a personal way as well. So let's go back to a ministry question. This is from Earl, Brother Earl of Clayton, North Carolina. He texted in. Here's what he said. Thanks for texting me. I'm working most of the time when your radio broadcast is on, but I try to listen to the first part of your broadcast because I have to punch in halfway through. And so, Earl, thank you so much for listening there in Clayton, North Carolina, even if you can only catch the first half of the broadcast. But the question I have, he said, the only question I have is, what address can I send money to help out your ministry? I am humbled, Brother Earl, that you would think of investing in our ministry that way. And I did not plant this question. He responded with this question. And so thank you so much to this kind brother in Clayton, North Carolina. I'll give you the address, and I'll give you a couple different ways that you can support our ministry. First of all, and more important than your money, is your prayers. For each one of you that are listening right now, I covet your prayers. I would love to hear from you if you're praying for our ministry. Please feel free to text me. More than any question, more than any critique, more than anything else, I want to hear that you're praying for us. It means so much to me and such an encouragement. You can text me at 309-316-7240. But beyond your prayers, if you would like to financially partner with our ministry, there's multiple ways you can do that. The address that you can send a gift to is this. Put Bible Tracts Inc., that's BibleTracts Inc., and then the P.O. Box is P.O. Box 188, P.O. Box 188, Bloomington, Illinois, 61702. Give it to you one more time. The address is Bible Tracts Inc., P.O. Box 188, and that's Bloomington, Illinois, 61702. The other day, our office man opened up that box and he texted me that there were over 80 envelopes in them. Some of them had just a few dollars. Some of them, people that others would call big givers. Can I tell you, there is no big or small givers. There's people that may not give equal gifts, but equal sacrifice. And so to each and every one of you, whether you gave $3, some give $20, some $100, it doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum. I can't tell you how much it warms my heart to know that almost every cent that comes in there goes directly to printing gospel tracts. The printing, the distribution, the design, all of these things that get wrapped up into the production of gospel tracts, that's where your money is going. And so, Brother Earl of Clayton, North Carolina, thanks for asking such a heartfelt question like that. Of course, for those of you that are listening as well, you can go to BibleTractsInc.org. BibleTractsInc.org. If you need that address texted to you, feel free to text me, 309-316-7240. I'll text you that URL. But you can go there in the top right-hand corner. There is the option to donate. You can do that. You could even, and what people have done that has been such a gracious investment, is there are some people, instead of giving a lump sum right now, they give maybe instead of $100 right now, maybe they give $8 or $10 every month. I'm not asking for you to give right now. If the Lord lays on your heart, then please feel free. I'm just answering a question from Brother Earl, but I greatly appreciate the fact that he would even think of asking that question. And for those of you that have truly invested of your time, the most priceless of commodities, in listening to this broadcast this week, this question and answer week, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I had so much fun. We'll do it again sometime. I still have a bunch of questions I've got to get to, and so we'll talk to you very soon. Have a great day, a great weekend for His glory. God bless.